Hi, I'm Marilyn San Clemente of Stamp with Marilyn, and welcome to my creative playground. Actually, my Virginia playground. I'm visiting my sister this week. So today I'm going to review the Simply Elegant suite from the new catalog, which is this beautiful, beautiful paper. And this is what the stamp set looks like. And it has this coordinating punch with it, which does this really cool design. That's right here. And it's got this really pretty fleur-de-lis corner pattern of flower, and then it's got some very nice words. This would be a very good set for weddings, happy birthday, happy anniversary, weddings, all that. True love stories last forever, which I think is really nice as well. So this is what the paper looks like. It is shades of gray, and it has gold foil embossed, silver and copper foil embossed. So copper and gold sheets coordinate very well with it. And because it's shades of gray and black, I have found that Blackberry Bliss, the Going Gray, the Mossy Meadow look really, really nice with this set. And this set also comes with silver and gold thread. So very pretty. And I have found that white embossing powder looks really good with this, which is what this is. So I used white embossing powder with the Mossy Meadow and the Blackberry Bliss and made each of the stamps. So let me show you a couple cards that I made with this. And we have this. So what I used for this card is the Going Gray, a piece of Blackberry Bliss, which is the next layer, and then Very Vanilla. Some of the designer papers in this set use white and some use Very Vanilla, so you can use either or for this, depending upon which designer paper you're using. And what I wanted to do with this card was I wanted to showcase the designer papers. So I used the Stitched Triangles set, and I cut a couple of different triangles from a couple of the different patterns. I love, love, love this pattern with the copper. Put that down the center, and then I cut a triangle to fill in the rest of the card. And then I used the punch, and I did punch out this centerpiece and added a gold embossed flower to the top of the punch. And then on the inside, I used that really pretty lacy piece to just decorate the inside of the card as well. And let me show you how I did this. So we're going to cut a 1 3/4 inch strip of cardstock. You unlock your punch, and then you feed the cardstock in. Rather than going in the normal way, which would be this way, I'm going to feed it through this way so that I'm only punching one part of it. Oops. Put the feed it in there. There we go. Got it. There. Okay, and then we cut that. So we have one end cut. And now we want to cut the second end. So you figure out how long you want your card to be, and then add another 3/4 inch. And we're going to feed the second end in. And this is a great way to use a punch that has a fancy end like this, if you want that fancy end on both sides. So cool way to make a tag. Okay, there we go. Oop, and it just moved on me. There we go. Okay, so now I have my tag, and both ends of the punch are punched, which is what I did here with the copper piece. Okay, so that's the first card. Second card, so I used this white and gold piece, and then as you can see, this one is white and gold, and this background is vanilla and gold. So I used the Smoky Slate I cut a piece of smoky slate. The next layer is a piece of the gold background, which is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. And then next I went down 1/2 of an inch. So that is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And so I layered a piece of gold foil, and then I went down another 1/8 of an inch. I layered on this piece of the embossed white with the really pretty filigree pattern. I used the textured layer die and cut out this piece and set that aside because I'm going to show you how I use that on the next card. And then I added a piece of Very Vanilla that fit in this window behind, and I stamped off with the gold, and I stamped again with the gold and embossed it, and then I stamped the flower once again with gold and embossed it on a separate sheet and cut that out. So it is now 2 o'clock. Isn't that a pretty chime? So I cut that out and then added it to the top of the card with a dimensional. So this flower image was stamped 3 times. It was stamped once and embossed. I stamped off to get this kind of yellowish shadow, and then a 3rd time on a separate sheet, which I embossed and cut out. So that's that card. And then I added these really pretty gems to the side. And what I found goes with this paper really well are these gilded gems that we had last year and carried forward. And then also these genial gems. This gold looks really nice with this paper since this has gold in the foil. So those are the gems that I have found that work really well with this card set. Now, my next card, I took the centerpiece, flipped it over, and that is this piece. I used that same background that I did here that has the gold embossing with the diamond pattern. And then I used this really pretty sheet here, and I separated the two with a 1/2 inch piece of Going Gray that I embossed with a textured folder. And so this is white, has a white inside. And then this is my 4th card. And I love this card. This is a layered card that I did. This card is Blackberry Bliss, Going Gray, another layer of Blackberry Bliss, Going Gray, and then the gray designer paper, which has this really pretty gold embossed pattern. It's actually gold and silver embossed pattern. This is a piece of Blackberry Bliss, and I used white embossing powder to emboss that and cut that out. This I used one of the window punches from the textured dies. And then this is also a piece of Blackberry Bliss that I stamped and embossed with clear embossing powder. And it gave it this kind of pinkish, a really pretty pink color. And then on the inside, I added that really pretty pattern. So I really like this set. Great set, I think, for weddings and more formal occasions. So maybe a formal party or something like that. And let me show you another card that I saw. And for that, I'm going to use the flower. And I need to grab this corner piece. And then I also need my Going Gray ink. And I keep saying Going Gray, and what I mean is basic gray. And because I'm in Virginia, I have a set of spots with me that I've been using to stamp this week. What I did was I used spots from the paper pumpkin kits, and then for the spots, for the colors that I didn't have, I filled in with the uninked spots. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this in this corner. Ah, pretty. And I'm going to ink that again. And stamp this again in this corner. I'm going to set that aside and I'll clean that in a minute. And what I have is the Smoky Slate. I have the basic gray cardstock. And I'm going to attach this to the basic gray. So this piece is 4 by 5 1/4, and this piece is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And so I'm going to attach that together. There we go. Right there. Okay, and then I'm going to put this across the middle like this. So what I like to do is when I'm working with a strip like this of designer paper is I lay it on top and then I just use my scissors and I can line it up. Oops. And that way I know I'm cutting it to the right size. There we go. So I'm going to put this across the middle. And this is the back side of that gold paper that we used on the last card. Going to put that there. And then I'm going to cut a 3/4 inch piece. Here we go. And I'm going to make a tab. Okay, so I have a little banner, and I'm going to, and as you can tell, I'm not home, so these are not Stampin' Up! Blocks. I'm not sure who makes these blocks, but they're made for stamps that have this Velcro so to help them stick on the back. Okay, and let's see if I can line this up. There we go, perfect. And I'm just going to trim this just a bit. There's my gray. And where did I put my card? There's my card. Okay, so this piece is going to go here. And as you can see, I've used Whisper White and I'm using the Very Vanilla here. So I am using a little bit of the two different colors. The next thing I'm going to do is put up the flower here. And to do that, and I want to stamp my flower in a couple of different colors. I don't want it to necessarily be all gray. I'm going to show you how to color the flower. I only have my spots with me. I don't have my Stampin' Right markers. If I had my Stampin' Right markers, I would use my markers and color on my stamp. Now, you can do that with the Stampin' Right markers, which are water-based ink. It's the same ink that's in the stamp pads, but you cannot do that with your blends. If you color with your blends on the ink pads, it will not come off. Your ink pad will be stained. So what I'm doing, because I don't have my markers with me, is I'm taking a blender pen and I'm just going to pick up some of the green and I'm going to color the leaves here. Or I'm sorry, the stem and the leaves. And this is what you would do if you had your marker. I would just use my Shaded Spruce. This is Shaded Spruce, so it's the darker green. I would just use my Shaded Spruce pen and color in on the stamp. So I'm just using my blender pen to pick up the ink to do that instead. Okay, so there's the Shaded Spruce. And to get that clean, what you do is you just kind of run that on a scrap piece of paper until it's clear. So even though it's stained with the Shaded Spruce, it's still relatively clean. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a dauber to do the flowers. So you always want to start with your lightest color first. And I'm going to do the little flower in the purple, the Fresh Fuchsia, which is the new the new purple in the In Colors. And same thing, I'm just cleaning my dauber. And because the Fresh Fuchsia is a little bit lighter, I've got that clean, but you don't care as much because the Fresh Fuchsia will blend in with the pink. And this is the new polished pink, which is the new pink in color, which this is becoming my favorite new pink. My favorite pink has always been Flirty Flamingo. This is becoming my new favorite pink. Okay, so there we go. And I'm gonna clean that. And then what you do, because these are water-based inks and they do dry very quickly, you just huff on this. And that kind of reactivates the ink. And we're gonna stamp. There we go. And there's our pretty flowers. And I did stamp this earlier and cut it out so that you don't have to watch me cut it out. Okay, so now I was just going to put this, I'm gonna feed that stem under there, and I'm going to put this on with a dimensional. There we go. Very nice. So that just adds just a little drop of color to that card. I like it. Very pretty. So I hope you've enjoyed my cards today made with the Elegantly Said suite and the new paper. There's the cards. Thank you for stopping by. Have a great day and happy stamping.